It's the photographers.
We're the photographers.
What's up, y'all? It's Monday. You know what that means?
It's actually Tuesday, but it's Monday right now.
Yeah, we film on Tuesdays, but we release our videos on Mondays, and we're mic'd up today. We got these little fancy things. Not me.
You can hear our audio nice and clear.
But today, we're gonna be talking about
the photography 101, the basics.
the little triangle, bro.
The triangle. But today
Exposure triangle.
But today we're gonna make it into a square.
Yeah, we're gonna call it the Photographerz Square. We're gonna talk about the shutter speed, ISO,
f-stop, and white balance.
That's pretty much it, guys. Let's get this thing started. Tip 1, baby. It's all about the ISO, baby. The ISO, dog. Huh? Oh. ISO. Sorry, guys. ISO. What's up, people? The first things first is the ISO, baby. We're gonna talk about that ISO. What does that ISO do? ISO. What does that ISO do?
Well, the ISO, what the hell does the ISO mean to you?
It means how sensitive your sensor is to the available light.
For example, if you're in a very bright situation, it's nice and sunny outside, you want to bring that ISO down.
It makes your sensor less sensitive, so it makes your image a little bit darker.
For example, if you're in a darker room, you want to do the opposite.
Bump that ISO up, which means your sensor becomes more sensitive, which means your image becomes a little bit brighter. Bam.
When it comes to the basics, the higher the ISO, you got to be careful because you might get more grain in your images.
Exactly, and lower the ISO means more detail, baby, and that's the ISO.
Come on, man, what you know about that shutter speed?
We about to talk about that shutter speed, dog.
Talk about how fast
and how slow the shutter closes, baby.
And that's what it is. With shutter speed, it's all about that movement.
Yeah, so if you're shooting with a lower shutter speed, it means your sensor is going to see the scenery or the object you're shooting for a longer period of time, which means your image will most likely be brighter.
And if you're shooting with a fast shutter speed, you want to be shooting action, you want to be shooting movement, you want to be shooting all that kind of stuff. And you'll notice with a faster shutter speed, your image will tend to be a little bit darker.
Yeah, so when you're shooting with a higher shutter speed, it's okay. You won't get any sort of motion blur. But if you want that motion blur, lower shutter speed. And if you're going to go really, really low, chances are you're going to need a tripod. Tip 3, baby. Talking about the aperture. That f-stop. What, you expecting something funny? Alright, guys. This time we're going to talk about the aperture, the f-stop. Know what I mean?
And with f-stop, you can either put it really high or put it really low or keep it in the middle.
So what happens when we boost up the f-stop?
So when you keep the f-stop high, the aperture ring is actually really small. The higher the f-stop, the lower the aperture ring. Just remember that.
Higher the f-stop, lower the ring. Say it again. Higher the f-stop, smaller the ring. Alright, guys?
And with the smaller ring, you'll notice that your images will have a lot more detail in the shot, and you'll also notice that images tend to be a little bit darker.
So what's an example of a high f-stop, sir?
Maybe 11, maybe 16. Depends how much detail I want to show.
Yeah, and if you're shooting a lower f-stop, it means bigger the hole. Say it with me, guys. Lower the f-stop, bigger the hole. When you have a bigger hole, that means more light and things come in. The bigger the hole means more light will come in, which means less detail in your images, but it also means you'll be able to get the
depth of field, and you'll get that blurry look where it looks really cool and the background's all like blurred out and you look all romantic and stuff. White balance, keep it cold or keep it warm.
Alright, guys, so what we just finished explaining was the triangle exposure, the exposure of triangles, but we're gonna turn that into a goddamn square, the Photographerz Square.
And with that square, we're gonna add in that white balance.
You know, the white balance.
So whether you want your picture really brown or really blue,
yeah, warm or really cold, it all depends on the white balance. Plain and simple. That's it.
Yeah, so the higher the white balance, the warmer your image. You'll look like you're in Miami, you're in Hawaii. And then the lower the white balance, that means the cooler the image.
Cool, Gucci
like you're
man.
In Toronto, man.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, guys. We're done with the square. You guys got all the info you need. Now go practice.
We gotta swipe back.
Sorry, guys, we forgot one thing.
So with your white balance, there's different settings depending on the camera that you have. You can do like fluorescent, shade, daylight.
Or if you got that custom stuff, you know, you customly adjust your settings. What's that called? It's called Kelvin. What's Kelvin? The temperature, bro.
And that's what it is. The higher it is, the warmer it is, the lower it is, the colder it is.
Gucci. It's the conclusion, people.
And that's it. We just taught you about the Fotographerz Square.
So we taught you about the white balance, the ISO, the f-stop, the shutter, all of that.
And what we didn't tell you, which is the secret, is that they're all related. They all work together.
Don't tell anybody, but they all work together, guys.
So, for example, you want a brighter image, what do?
You lower your f-stop and you raise your ISO, people.
You can also lower your shutter speed.
Exactly. And if you want a darker image, what do you do then?
You can raise your f-stop, you can lower your ISO, and you can raise your shutter speed.
But the key thing is, mix and match, try it out, experiment, because that's the only way you're gonna learn, and just use all the information we gave you guys today.
And now that we told you all the secrets, you better follow us, you better like us, you better subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh, please, 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 just come on. We need some subscribers and some likes, and we're good people. Look at me,
Come
man.
on.
Alright, guys. See you guys next week. Comments, concerns, anything else, leave down below. We got phone calls we gotta go answer. We got some things to do. Yo, take this mic off me, dog.
We're done. It's a wrap.
Nice work, dog.